Good morning. Hello. Welcome to Natasha Makes. It is Monday. It is the launch of the fabulous Maple Farm by Tilda. Yes, that's what we've got for you today. Just see if I can find you, actually. If you're all on, are you all on web today? Let's have a look. Where are you all? Did you have a lovely weekend? Have you had a lovely weekend? Have you realised yet that there have been weekends? Because that's the other thing. Or are you still all kind of, oh, well, today's just a day. Don't know what it's called, but it's just a day. I don't know. Let's see. I can't find the stream. We are presumably live, are we? Yeah. Apparently we are. But I can't find you. Where are you all? Oh, let me see if I can just refresh things. Here we go. Live. Ha! Good morning, Elizabeth and Anne and Claire. Hello. And Anne and Heather and Carol. Good morning. And to Nicola and Kaz and another Nicola, many Nicolas, and another Anne. Hello. Are you all ridiculously well? That's what I would like to know this morning. Have I got some stunning fabrics for you today? Oh my goodness. I have tried to do this so that my pen's out the way. Got last minute tidy. It's a bit late for housekeeping now, isn't it? I've tried really hard to do this so that there is something for every wallet. That's what I'm going for today. So I've got bundles. You can basically shop the entire show if you want. I have a mega bundle if you want every single half meter, the full 20 half meters of the Tilda range, the 4 plain half meter Tilda fabrics that I have for you. If you want these incredible quilted pleather, I guess it is PU. Then we've got that on the four shades on the show today, which has been so beautiful to work with, really gorgeous. And we've also got buttons. Now you don't always get the buttons, you know. It's quite difficult sometimes to come by them, but there they are. Ta-da! Maple Farm buttons. They're beautiful. They are 16 mil and there are 8 of them. The colourway from this is, is just stunning. A little bit autumnal, I'm feeling. Let me get my machine around the right way for you. I've been daring to sew. How dare I? So yeah, there are autumnal tones starting to come through here. There's your Dijon, there's rose hip, there's slate in there, blueberry. They are delicious. And of course, they will mix through with the rest of your Tildas as well, which is what we absolutely love. I've split the 20 down into 4 lots of 5. Now, we did a poll. Thank you ever so much for everyone who took part in there to see whether or not you wanted them in half meter bundles, how you wanted them basically, half meters or long quarters. And most wanted half meters, so we've done that. Some wanted long quarters, so we've done the proportions accordingly. So there are long quarters. I love a long quarter, and they're not always readily available at all. We've done our research. You can't always find long quarters at all, but I just find a long quarter incredibly useful. It is the full width of your fabric, so it's the 44-inch width, and then it's 10 inches deep. So you get a lovely strip of the full length of the full width of the fabric, which is gorgeous. Who else has joined us this morning? Oh my goodness. Oh, Karen says Desmond's just arrived. Can't wait to get started. A lot of you should be receiving your Desmonds, and the rest of the fabric orders, they are now fully cut and they will be going out today. So if you're still waiting on some of the Desmond kits and what have you, I've completely forgot to put together the rabbit kits. I'll remember to do. Hang on, let me write that down. Or can somebody write that down for me, because I've just got rid of my pen. Margaret says, happy Monday, Natasha. Twisted an ankle, which is annoying. So thanks for asking. Oh no, is something worse? Is there? Twisted ankle. Ugh. But it just means you have to, you know. Oh, hang on. Is it your sewing ankle? If you've got a machine where you can do start-stop, so you can still sew, I mean, that's kind of the vital thing. I'm not really worried about driving, but, you know, if you can start-stop your machine, you're all right. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, Joe. And Irene, hello. And Susan as well. And Adele, hello, 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 hello. Pam says the buttons are gorgeous. They really are. They've got a metal inner, but they're metal-covered buttons. Very beautiful. Kirsty says, morning, Natasha. Got the day off. So no pausing for the team meetings. Yeah, now love this fabric. The buttons are cute. They're really, really, really cute. And Rona says, morning, Tash. I just received my latest order. Love the fabrics, threads, corner grid, and block of the month's instructions. Can't wait to get started. Yay! I added in the wee. Laurie says, morning, Natasha. And hello, Tilda. Yeah. It's a bit special, isn't it? Gorgeous, gorgeous Tilda. And good morning to everybody, Muriel and Carol and Donna and Kiara. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning to all of you. Janet says she's just bought a long quarter pack. Love the fabric. Thanks for getting this in. It is my absolute pleasure. I will always get Tilda in. So designers like Tilda and Kaif and people like that I have a personal relationship, I will always get their fabrics in. I always will. That is my promise to you. I mean, timings and stuff can be a little bit out sometimes with what's going on at the moment, but I'll always get them. Don't you worry, I'll always get them. If I stop talking, we'll actually get around to pocket. We'll be having a go at that today. Whoops. And let's have a look then at what we've got. Oh yeah, I got this out to cut. Hang on. Let me just cut a bit off from my demo. And then we can crack on. How much do I need? I'm going to go for 10 inches. Why not? Eh? Just cut myself off a little 10-inch strip. Treat myself to a little long quarter. This is what I mean, you see. How useful is that? Bink, bink. There we are. That's that done. I can now put that to one side. Now, I know a lot of you eager beavers are after the Little Farm. Now, this is... Little Farm is tomorrow, is Tilda's launch of her children's fabric. So what happened when I spoke to Tilda at the start of the year, I say Tilda, Tuna, who is basically Tilda, she was just finishing off designing and sorting and getting everything out for her first kind of children's range, which is Little Farm. And it's really beautiful. And I mean, I've got some of it here. This will be tomorrow's show. Just to give you an idea. Ba-da. I mean, yeah. Isn't that beautiful? So, Little Farm is tomorrow. That's what I've been making the dresses for Emily out of. She had so much fun stomping around everywhere, taking photos at the weekend, and now has a full new wardrobe, which is fantastic. We'll be making those tomorrow, the little dresses tomorrow, and yeah. So the reason this can come about is because Tuna has changed her manufacturer of the fabric. And now it is, I mean, it's phenomenal. So normally a cotton fabric would have a shrinkage anywhere between 6 and 7%, and that's kind of standard across the board. This substrate, so that's the base cotton that everything is printed onto, this base substrate, it has a shrinkage of only 3% maximum, which is phenomenal, phenomenal. So it kind of means like you're buying more because it's not going to shrink. The other thing to bear in mind is that it is, and I can't actually pronounce it, I want to call it OTEX assured. So what it means is there are no nasty chemicals, which means that, it's a long rambly story, I'm getting to the point. The reason she can do children's fabric and wants to do children's fabric is that because she now has this certification, class 1 certification with her fabrics, they are safe for children's clothing. There you go. I got there in the end. Which means that these can also be made into little dresses and things like that, and also sleepwear. So often you'll see not suitable for children's sleepwear, and that's just because it doesn't have the certifications, is my understanding on it. So that is the key. And the same is with all of these fabrics. So I think it was Happy Campers that she switched over for, which is great, absolutely great. Morning, Jill. Lovely of you to join us. Love a long quarter for bag handles and cutting 2.5-inch strips. Well, that's just it, isn't it? It's just really handy. Really handy. It kind of feels like you get more. Should we talk about what we're getting, by the way? Now, I have got a handful of these left. And that is, so if you are after a smorgasbord, an affordable smorgasbord of every single fabric in the collection, then of course a charm pack is the way to go. And that's your 5-inch charm pack there. Is it 40 or 42? 2 of each square, so that's going to be 40 in there. There you go. That's your Maple Farm charm pack. I loaded some more stock of that this morning because we had just about run out. So I've got more stock of that. So you have now everything that I have. Buttons we have spoken about. They are also on the website. Now, actually I'm going to bring the buttons back, because if you have gone for the mega bundle this morning, then you have gone for all of that. And I only did a handful of them because I wasn't sure if that was something that any of you would even like. But otherwise you can put your own bundles together depending on which ones you want. But if you definitely know that you want all of this and the plains and the buttons and the quilted fabrics, which we'll get to in a minute, if you want the whole show and you want a saving, then that is the way to go. But like I say, I only have a handful, and when they're gone, they are gone. Hello. Oh, morning, Fiona. I've got my little stand this morning, and it's normally it's great for that way. Carol's got yet another sunny hot day in Kent. We're having thunderstorms apparently later. That's what we're gearing up for. So, buttons also available on their own. And actually, if you've got any of the Tilda books, she uses buttons a whole heap. So, always really handy to have. And especially when they coordinate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, this is the first bundle for you. And this has got your Gwendolyn in blueberry, your Pauline in blueberry, your Birdie blueberry, your cherry bush slate, and your Gracie lavender. Now then, how on earth am I going to show you all of that? So basically that is it. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit gorgeous, isn't it? Look at that. Tilda never disappoints, does she, when it comes down to a good, pretty floral. Excuse my sticker, that's how I know what I've got in there. Just exquisite. And then this is her take on a ditzy in this range. Very lovely. And then more of a blender for this one. Again, look at those beautiful tones that we've got coming in there. Absolutely gorgeous. Tilda likes the odd bird, doesn't she, in her work? And it's a dove this time, which is lovely. I mean, we've got dove white on the show today. I think that is exquisitely beautiful. And then I am absolutely in love with this one. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that just absolutely stunning? So that is bundle number 1. Come in, bundle number 1. Now then, here it is in Dijon. And this is the one that I made this out of. Because the blue, the navy sort of pulled out those purpley bits in there. So yeah. So on this one you've got that one. You have got, look at that, isn't that just beautiful? This for me has sort of mandalas and English paper piecing written all over it. And then this one, let me turn it around the right way. Bit gorgeous. They're all a bit gorgeous. So this is your teal and Dijon. Look at those. And then, there we go. I love this way. I'm not normally a mustardy Dijon-y kind of a girl, but yeah, today, yes, absolutely. Now, this is the Rose Hip and Mauve bundle for you. Now then, this is your wheat flower. Very lovely there. Is this one the Gwendolyn? Oh, this is Pauline. Hi, Pauline in mauve. Hi. Again, just such... this for me is one of... feels quite autumnal in a way. There we are. Again, exquisitely beautiful. And that's your cherry bush. And then your Gwendolyn. Is that not just beautiful? Actually, that would look really nice as well, wouldn't it? With we'll talk colours in a minute, because these colours are just rather lovely. This is your sand and umber one. Again, oh yeah. So if you're going for this bundle, be it in long quarter or half metre range, then this is what you're getting. Yeah, look at that. Really gorgeous. And that pink and the brown. It's kind of a grey brown. It's just gorgeous. And there, that's your autumnal tones, isn't it, coming through? Now, bearing in mind, we have also got 4 half meters of plains, and not quite sure how I'm going to manage this, but just to give you an idea, there you go. What you've got here is pulling through the pink and that one, and then this purple. Oh, and of course the dove white throughout. But if you've got the whole lot, then you can pull it through in any of them. Yeah, there you go. There's that aubergine there coming through there. So it is incredibly beautiful. Now, we also, so they are your tonals. And I get asked for these all the time because, of course, it's the same weight. So it's perfect, absolutely perfect. And it doesn't matter which of the fabrics that I pick up. You can just see it working beautifully with it. There you go. Okay, now, what is also working rather beautifully are these. Now, these are fat quarters, but they're big fat quarters, because this quilted fabric is, I think it's 145 centimetres wide. It's really wide. So by the time that you've done a fat quarter of that, it's like 20 centimetres wider than your normal one. So there's a lot of fabric in there. But I just, for example, the shades that I've chosen, that's your rose, just works so beautifully with these tones. That is, yeah, that's your, is that the champagne? And I mean, it doesn't matter if I pick out like that one, how beautifully do those two go together? They, you know, it just, oh, and then this one, oh, this one, I love this one. So this is your copper colour, but look at that, look at the copper with that. Isn't that gorgeous? And also with the Dijon. I kind of like that as well. I mean, it'll help if I get it around the right way. It just worked. So what I thought I would do is put together, if you're getting the mega bundle, then you've already got these already. But otherwise, you can have, because I couldn't decide which one, so 4 big fat quarters. So there's a whole metre basically in total there. In your navy, in your rose, in your champagne, and down here in your bronze. They are spandex and elastane. That's their makeup. So they're very forgiving when you sew with them. And you know the little any size pouches? If you've worked with the pleather on those, I've just started. I mean, that's busy for tomorrow. Well, actually, I say tomorrow's show. That's for Emily. But look, you can. They work really beautifully on those as well. So if you've got that, so if you've got that pattern, then these work beautifully for that. Just to give a little bit of detail and something a little bit different. Just something a bit different for you was what I was thinking. So there we go. That is today's show. We were laughing about these quilted fabrics because did anybody else have one of those quilted parkas in like the 70s and 80s? Like, it's a bit like that. It's not, but it's what it reminds us of. But like tiny jackets. So grab your buttons, grab your charm packs, grab whatever you want. These are the fabrics that we've got on the show. Don't, of course, forget to get those plains, which are, of course, going to work exquisitely. And don't forget to get whichever colourway or there we go, that you fancy. And I can just, I mean, if I pop those over there like that, you can see how they work very beautifully together. All right. So today we're going to make up a quick pouch, and I wanted to step it up. We've done really basic pouches before now. Yes, we've done some English paper piecing, and of course these would be beautiful with the English paper piece pouch that we've done before, of course. Be absolutely exquisite and work a treat. So that pattern is on the website as well. There we are. So I wanted to just take it up a little bit and just start to bring into pockets. It's just handy, really handy. And I guess I'm gonna use this for my makeup. So I can either put brushes or, you know, mirrors or tweezers over the edge or whatever it is. But I just thought that was a really great size. I'm gonna work with quite a long zip today and trim back. But if you don't have a long zip, then in the instructions, I show you how to extend it to make it whatever length you want. So if you've got the blue zip bundle that we have on the website, then that's one of the zips from the blue zip bundle. And all I've done is just added a little bit over the end there just to make it the length that I need it to be. But if you are worried that your machine won't go through that many layers, what I would say is that this is really easy to sew through. It's gorgeous to sew through, so don't panic. I'm going to show you how easy it is to sew through it this morning. And just so that you can have a little look at, yeah, just get used to these new fabrics because they are exquisite. Let me just load up my machine this morning. I got part way through changing the threads over because I've been in navy this morning, and this is the beauty actually. I saw a thread on Facebook. We've still got the 20,000 spool threads on our website, and one lady said that when she first got hers, I think it was Lynn. I think she bought them when they had them on Sewing Quarter, and she was like, oh, I was a bit disappointed with the colourways because they weren't, you know, all bright and garish and what have you. But actually, what she soon realised is that the muted colours in there, there's loads of teals and creams and, well, just to give you an idea, this is what I always take to Hochanda with me when I go over there, and I just tipped there. So they're the sort of colourways that you'll get. So this is the most useful colour, and it's in most of them, and greys and navies and creams and greens. They're so useful. I know that sometimes we want, oh, you know, why aren't there bright pinks and this, that and the other? But actually, we very rarely sew with bright pink. Well, I certainly very, very rarely sew with a really bright pink. So those are the colours that I find we use all the time. Right, so all of the fabric measurements are on the sheet, on the instruction sheets. The instructions are available on the website. Just saying that because I can't actually remember what it was. Well, you know, it's been a long time since I made it. And the other thing to say is that I still have a handful, of tonals in 2 of the tonals, the tonal double. And just to give you an idea, look at that. I know a lot of you are trying to pop as many Tilda plains into your stash as possible, but this one here, doesn't that work beautifully with that one? Really gorgeous. And then of course that purple crops up all over the place. So I still have a handful of those left, and I just thought actually I should probably remind you that they are also on the website if you're going for plains this morning, but that isn't in the mega bundle because that was a separate thing. So without further ado, let's crack on with this. So I've cut that 10 wide, haven't I? And then, come on, where's the creative grid? Don't ever throw your creative grids like that, it's a bad idea. Let's see. Let's go, I think I did it 12. Let's hope that I can remember these right. But certainly this is fat quarter and long quarter friendly, these patterns this morning, and that was, you know, that was really important to me. I'm getting stashed. Look, that was the one I worked with earlier. And so, you know, you could do one this size and then a slightly smaller one out of your bundle. Be absolutely fine. So what you're going to want is your back and your front of that. We need a lining fabric. Have I got enough left here? You know when you don't quite want to. Oh look, that'll do. It's almost like it was made for it. Oh yeah, I think I did cut that actually. That was, we've had that, and I think that was the last one, so I just thought I would use that one. But that was from the petrol bundle. And I'm going to go with the copper because this is not a colour that I would normally work with, but I absolutely adore it. And if you've bought things like the heavy duty snaps and stuff like that, it's just going to work a treat. So that will be sitting on there. So once you've cut your fabric, yeah, we've got everything that we need ready to go. Look, everything is there. We're all cut out. Again, all the cutting instructions are there. So I've got my lining fabric, so 2 pieces of my lining fabric there. I've got 2 pieces of my my outer fabric, and then this pocket fabric. So the pocket fabric, cut slightly larger in length, fold it over in half. This is quite bouncy, it's got spandex and elastane in it. So what we're going to do, that is going to be double width. Now, if I did not find a problem sewing this at all, but if you have a machine that you think might struggle, you can do one of 2 things. You can either put your walking foot on or don't double it over, just cut it and hem it, just fold it over a bit on the top and do that so that it's just one thickness, not the two. But because I don't know about you, but because I'm a rummager, I'll lose stuff, and so then I will want to have a good rummage around. I wanted that fabric on the inside all the way down. There's a little bit of give in it as well, and that for me is the perfect size for all makeup and what have you. Eau de coat this, if you want to make it watertight and waterproof, then eau de coat it. That would work an absolute treat as well. Once you start on the old eau de coat, I think you'll keep going. So I'm going to top stitch along there on both of them, and that's just going to hold it, stop it being a bit bouncy, and just make it look like it's meant to be there, because you know it is. It really is. So let's just do that, shall we? You can use a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance or not. It's entirely up to you. All I would say is just be consistent. Whatever you go with, be consistent. So let's just, oh, quite an angle. And as I say, I really found this so easy to work with. But, you know, let me get my angles right for you. Let me see. Can you actually see? No. Something I suddenly realised I've got a different. There we go. I'm using the different sewing machine. I had everything set up for the big boy, and of course I'm not on that one. Not on that one today. If you want to, now this is the other way that this differs from the other pleather that we have for you on the website, and that is, although those would go beautifully too. You can pin this. I've got some clips so it doesn't move about, but you can actually pin this. It's very, very forgiving. Unlike leather and normal pleathers, you can pin this. I did, and it was no bother at all. There we go. Are we sewing nicely? Are we playing nicely, little sewing machine? Of course, I just threaded you up and didn't even check that you were happy this morning. All the things you shouldn't do, of course, isn't it? There we go. Aha. No, it has not been happy in there. Oh well. No, it will do for now. I shall have a little rethread in a minute. Right, okay. Snips. Where are my snips? Come on. Right. So when those are done, you can just pop them to one side and we'll insert the zip. So I'm going to use one that is much longer. I didn't with the other one. I used one that was much shorter. And this is the thing, okay, if you're using a zip that's shorter, then this is what I would do. So this is all the same length, but just get, that's the length of the zip, that's the width of the fabric that I want to work with. And measure from there to there, times that by 4, and then cut a length, that length, whatever that 4 increment is, and then by the width of the zip. So the zip's about 1 inch, and you end up with something like that. You want to fold it into the middle, like so, fold it in again, like so, and then those edges there, they're not raw anymore. That's what you've done, is you've bound any raw edges, and then you can just place that over to there, pin or clip, and then just take that to your sewing machine. If you have covered up that little metal bit there, just be really careful when you sew that you're not going to go through it. So just sew slightly over one edge there, but just do a little seam along there, and what that will give you is that that there. So that's just covered that end of the zip. Done. Easy, easy, easy peasy. And again, you can do exactly the same the other end. It neatens it up. Some people, when they make pouches, only ever do it like this because they want that effect at the end. And even if they're using a zip that isn't too short, they will still go for that look anyway. But today we're going to use this really pretty one. I had a look through my zip stash, and the colour just fitted with everything, and I thought, oh, do you know what? That's really rather lovely. So normally I would get out some quilters, tape, and say, oh, that's how I do my zips. I wanted to show you another way. If I've got it in here. Oh no, where is it? What have I done with it? And that was with glue pen. Now, we touched on this the other day. Morning, thank you. That's one of our deliveries in. That's always good. Ever so friendly, our delivery drivers. What have I done with it? Oh, I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, that's a pain. That is a pain. I'm not always the most organised, it would be fair to say. Oh, I'll have to do it with the old tape. But I didn't want you to think that you always had to use tape. You can also use, well, you can hand-based, obviously, but then you can also baste with your Sewline glue pen as well, which we did the other day. Now, I made the mistake of, I used the wrong tape this morning, and it bunged up my, I think it was a craft, I'd run out, so I just grabbed one and assumed it was quilter's tape, and it wasn't. So I'm going to treat myself to a new one, just help myself. It's like having a little sweet shop there. So I would say right tools for the job. Quilter's tape obviously is designed not to bung up your needles. But let's just run that along there like so. And along the back. And the reason that I'm using the wash away as opposed to the other quilter's tape this morning is because there is every chance, because this is quite a narrow zip, I think it's a dressmaking one actually, but it was pretty, so I can use it. We can make all things work, right? Yeah, I think it's actually an invisible one. Is that it's quite narrow, so I will just pop some water on it afterwards, and then that tape will just disappear. So I'm not going to be overly concerned if a little bit of it shows through. And again, wrong side. This isn't a directional print. Saying that, actually, I do think I want it to be that way. But if you are looking at a directional print, once you have attached that onto there, flip it to make sure that you've got that in the right direction. And then I'm going to pop the old iron on, you know, because I've just seen the state of so this was the other thing, of course. The star zips would be really pretty on this as well, so there's that option as well. I've got to load up some more of the star zips. I've got a whole load of just slightly off-white, very delicate off-white, which are absolutely beautiful. Now, let's give that a quick press. There we go. Not really given the iron much time to warm up, have I? And then again, if you're using a directional fabric, make sure that you are putting basically right sides together here. But because this is a tonal one, it absolutely doesn't matter. And every time I will double check and go back. Am I happy? Have I got my zip the right way? Yes, I have. So when that is turned through, have I got my fabric going in the direction I want? Tick, yes. Have I got my lining fabric so that when that is then pushed back and pressed, is that going to be all in the right direction? Yes, it is. So that basically, you should have your right sides together with the zip in between. And that's what we talk about when I say a zip sandwich. That's kind of what I'm meaning in terms of that. So then we will take it to the sewing machine and swap over the feet, although because I've used that wrong tape this morning, it's gunked up my foot as well, and I had to change my needle. It was quite a costly mistake to make. So what I would say to you is, if you do have double-sided tape that you use for crafting as well, just be aware that it's not the same. It's very tempting, isn't it, sometimes to go, oh, that's be fine, it'll be fine. It won't be fine. It might not be. That seam is going to be encased once it's all sewn together. So if you want to go back and forward, then you can, but half the time I don't really worry. And off we jolly well go. If you've got any of the Tilda books, do have a look, because there are so many beautiful, beautiful designs out there that are just exquisite. Then I take this, and yeah, and also on Tilda's World, you'll find lots of free patterns as well. She hasn't put up yet the patterns specifically for this fabric, but I thought the bird pond, that there's one with a duck on it, would be gorgeous out of this. I think she did it with the bird pond fabric. All I'm doing now is just pressing the fabric away from that, just to allow from the zip, from that, you know, that bit there. Just realised you can't actually see that. Let me move that across. There we go. And then I'm just going to top stitch, because I want to make sure that when I open and shut the zip, that nothing is going to get stuck. Okay. And again, the joy, and this is just down to zip preference. So for me right now, because I've got the longer zip on, I don't have to worry about getting part way through and then moving the zip past. I can zip it out of the way completely. So that's the other joy of this. And again, because it's a nylon one, I can cut it. So that's okay. Oops. There we go. Oh, I know what else I meant to tell you. Anybody who has ordered the Kay Facet book, they all went, every single order, the signed Kay Facet books all went in the post this morning, so they will be winging their way to you. The other thing about having a long zip, sorry to switch and change so much, is that you can start sewing off it. So if your machine, you know, when you first start, sometimes your threads just sort of bird nest a little bit, then it really doesn't matter. Because it can do that off it. Now, like I say, in the instructions that I've written for this, you will get the instructions as to how to add on to the zip, because I don't think I've covered that anywhere. So I try with the instructions to add something different, so that if you've got, look at that, isn't that pretty? so that if you do have any of the other instructions, each set of instructions will be adding to your knowledge. So it's never a waste. Right, so let's just repeat that this way. And spin it. There we go. Out of all of the tape, because I sell both the quilter's tape and the wash away, I would go wash away every time for when it comes down to this. Now, I am going to want that fabric to be, and I make no apologies for this, everyone's brains work differently, but for me, I lay it out the way that I want it. Once that is attached to the zip, I want that fabric to be facing that way, so I will lay it there and then fold it back onto the zip, and then I'm aligning it on the edges of the zip of the fabric that's already attached. So that, especially because the zip is longer, I just want to make sure that everything is lined up really nicely. Give that a quick press. There we are. And then on it goes. But also the thing is, with the wash away tape, if any of it shows through, then it's absolutely no biggie. You can just sponge it off, because it is indeed that. So you might pay slightly more for it, but for me, it's worth it, and it certainly does not gunk your needles. Okay, let's go and repeat that. You can, of course, you can always hand baste. You can pin, you can of course do all of those things. It's just a little cheat that I like, I really like. Off we go again. Oh, I'm trying to read a message and so that's never going to work, is it? And again, I'm sewing straight off. Oh no, it didn't switch over. I'm sorry. I've sewn straight off the end of the zip. And then again, open that. Look how pretty is that zip. Oh, just gorgeous. I just love the colour of it. And so again, I'm going to pull that, and I will press that side there. I'll press that side there and then top stitch. The top stitch is just an optional thing, but it just keeps the fabric out of the way. Everybody's had that coat where that hadn't been done to the zip, and it got caught. And just when you've pressed it, before you stitch it, just make sure that you've pressed it back enough. And you can do that just by opening and closing the zip. So again, let's just double check. I've got black fluff everywhere. Whoop. Yeah, that's just a thread. Come on. Yeah, that will open and close absolutely fine. So I'm just going to top stitch down there, and then that is that bit done. These are available on the website. I've got a really limited number, really, really limited. So, but if you'd like it, they're there. I think I might have called them nude. Ooh, nudie zips. Just because that's the colour. Now again, when you're doing this, don't panic if you're not stitching onto that leftover bit of the zip. Don't worry about that. The fact that you're sewing through onto the other side will still hold that fabric out of the way. And there it is. That is one zip in. Okay. If you you have a choice now. So these will sit there and there. Okay. If you want to baste these in place, then go for it. Absolutely fine. No problem. Otherwise, if you don't want to, again, no problem. Put one on top of the other, like so. But do make sure that those top lines are one on top of the other. And then fold that top line up. And that will go on there. And so you've got quite a stack. If you think that your machine might struggle with that, then get out your walking foot. I have to say, mine absolutely did not struggle. Again, you can either clip or pin. I would always say clip if you're using any other pleather, but this is so forgiving. And I'm pinning at that point there, just to make sure that those two meet, so that when it's sewn, let me show you here, they meet. By matching up, that they meet absolutely perfectly, rather than having one up there and one down there. And it's just those little things that just make it look a little bit more, you know, profesh and all that. So yeah, just take that time to double check. Yes, that's on top of that. That's on top of that. Everything is in line. Clip or pin. Now what I did with this, oh, and the quilters pins, by the way, are back in stock. I've got quilters and I've got patchwork pins. They are super fine as well, and that's another reason that I don't mind using it in this fabric, because they are incredibly fine, really, really beautiful pins. I've got the patchwork in the 50 packs and the quilters pins in the 100. They came off they've come off the boat as well. Finally starting that American order that I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for, finally in, which means that if you've been waiting for one of the cutting mats, that will be going out today. Yes, 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 finally. So thank you ever so much for not getting ratty with me, those of you that had to wait. At no point did I think that the wait would be quite so long. I'm lining this up with the edge of my foot. It's up to you what seam allowance you use. I'm just going to go forward a little bit, and then I'm going to hold it. Just because am I actually? Oh yeah. Let's just snip that thread. It's confusing me. No, I've come unthreaded, haven't I? Amazing. Oh, look at all that fluff on the back of my machine. I cleaned this machine, would you believe? All right. I was looking at it thinking, why isn't that doing what I want? That would help. There we are. Well, in that case, I will hold that out of the way and then just go backwards a little bit. So then the tension's taken up and it's less likely to nest. Now I'm just sewing that bottom line, and that's all I'm doing at the moment. And the reason that I'm sewing just the bottom line is because I don't want all of those layers shifting around the place. So that's why I'm going to sew those together now. We're going to box the bottom of this, so again, I'm not too worried about signing off or anything. Have I got all those layers in? Yes, I absolutely have. Hopefully by the looks of it. Am I missing one? No, just got it. Okay. And then I'm going to sew down these sides. If you have got a keeper, a zip keeper on there, then just go really, really steady because you're going to be sewing through an awful lot of layers. And then this is the... Oh no, I've just sewn that in. Right, okay. That's the other... We thought it was all going far too well. Didn't realise I'd caught that in. Do just check that. Do just check that you've got your lining fabrics to one side. It's okay. We have the technology. It's fine. What was I going to say? Oh, I'm all thrown now. Can't remember. Let's just unpick that. Oh yeah, so the reason I was sewing the bottom line so that everything is where it needs to be, but I'm not getting worried about starting and going backwards and all that kind of stuff in terms of just holding it. That's not what I'm doing it for, because actually we're going to box the bottom, so that bit that people get neurotic about starting and finishing, you're going to cut off anyway, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But let's just get a little purchase on that. There we go. There we go. And off it comes. Well, I thought it'd been a while since I'd unpicked something, you know. I didn't do any sewing with the panda. How gorgeous was that panda, by the way? Isn't Kath clever? And also she was super quick about getting those patterns out to you. So well done Kath, on lots of counts there. This unpicker I absolutely love. I've got it in a mini one as well, and I haven't actually treated myself to the mini one because I've got the big one, but I might pop it in my pack for when I demo on Hochanda. Let me see if there's any quicker way. There we are. I mean, these are all seams that are going to be on the inside, but if this was dressmaking or something where you wouldn't want to see all those threads, that's where this unpicker really comes into its own, I feel, because you can just remove all of those little threads using the rubbery bobbly end bit. So come on, hands up, how many of you have done this before? I don't think I've ever actually done that and caught the lining. I think that's actually a first for me. I mean, I've found many other ways to make a mistake, don't get me wrong, but this is a fresh new one, fresh new mistake. Lucky old me, lucky old me. Oh, I like to think it just gives me a chance to get an extra quality time with my fabrics. Here we go, nearly done. Talk amongst yourselves, ladies and gents. There we are. There we are. There we are. But yeah, if you do just want to, you just take that end and pull out the fabrics from there. Right, let's go again. Take those to one side. Make sure. See, I've even pinned it in there. That's another thing, is you should just double check, and I didn't. Didn't. So I'm going to just sew down that line again. Oh, it's like it's been basted now, isn't it? And all will be well with the world, I feel sure. There we go. What was it someone called it the other day? Warts and all. Warts and all. Warts and all demo. If you want to use a wider seam allowance, then do, making sure that you've got everything in, especially because you're going over so many layers. That's basically just worked as basting it, which is great. Now, as we were, what I was going to say is the next thing to remember is to open up your zip, because we're going to sew round now. threads all over the place. Open up that zip. So even if you have used a longer zip, just open it up, because otherwise you're going to curse yourself and or others. Hi Freddie, are you okay? You wanted to show me your dinosaur egg, didn't you? Come on, let's show. Are you sitting in your pyjamas? Do you mind being on the TV in your pyjamas? They're fine pyjamas. I mean, they look quite smart. School holidays. Come on. What have we got?
Dinosaur egg.
Dinosaur egg. Oh, that's amazing. Is it hatching?
Yeah.
Is this day 3? Hang on. Let's get the big reveal for everyone. Fred, pop it up on the sewing machine here. There you go. There you go. So, do you want to take it out of the water? Give it a little shake. Are we draining it? There you go. Okay, there you are. Are you gonna hatch that? That way a bit. That way a bit. There you go. So this was a belated birthday present from Uncle Matthew, wasn't it? Yeah. And this is Freddie's dinosaur egg, and it's about to hatch. So before your very, I mean, this wasn't actually part of the show, but before your very eyes, do you want to hatch that? Go on then. Well, you might have to peel it back a bit. Go on then. Let's put that in the bin.
More?
Go on then, yeah. If you're showing everyone. They want to see your dinosaur now. We all want to see your dinosaur now, Freds.
Because it's always ready to hatch.
It is ready to hatch. She's been patiently waiting for 3 days for this thing to hatch. It's better than the chicks. Those chicks never hatched, did they, with the eggs that we got? We waited 3 weeks for those, didn't we? Oh, down a little bit, down a little bit. You're a bit high. There we go. Okay, good job. What sort of dinosaur is this, Fred? Do you know?
My favourite!
Your favourite. Amazing. What is it? Can you remember what it's called?
A Triceratops.
Is it?
Triceratops.
Go on then, take it out and let's have a proper look, and then you've got to go back to Daddy. Can you just pull it out? Can you eke it out? Oh. There we go. Show everyone your dinosaur then.
Wow.
Down there. Oh, okay. One dinosaur.
Wow.
Do you think, Fred, is that going to expand any more? Do you need to go and put it in a bit water for a bit longer? Maybe?
Nah.
Nah. Go and pop that in the bin. Go and wash your hands.
Where do I put the...
In the bin.
Where's the bin?
Well, there's the bin there and then there's a bin in the kitchen. Go on, go. Go, go, go. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. So I'm loitering. He's waited so patiently for that. Right, okay. Where were we? Now that the dinosaur is hatched, we're all good, right? We're all good. I'm going to sew down the sides. My zip is open. Do you ever think which way to fold the zip? Fold the zip into the lining. Okay. So especially where I've undone it there, fold the zip into the lining. And that is the way, and then it'll go. Oh, right, so there we go. And if you fold it into the lining, then when you turn it through, it will come out that way, as opposed to the other way. So that's the way that I do it. Sometimes if I'm just doing the zip, I kind of do one way, one the other, and then it opens up. I'll do that another show. That sounded complicated, didn't it? So let's get sewing. I am going to mark on here just to remind myself. If I can find a pen. Here we are. I am going to do my turning through gap in the side, and I often do this And some of you have messaged in saying, oh, do you ever? Yeah, I do. I do quite a lot, because what it allows for is if you forget or you don't have time to sew up that turning through hole, nobody ever notices. It's fine. Nobody ever notices. So I'm going to start at the top here and sew down, and I'm going to sew down both of the side lines first and then sew across the base, for the simple reason that I don't want to be coming along here and then back up and miss that side. That side is pinned, so I want that to stay exactly as it is. So let's sew down one side to start off with. And again, if you want your walking foot on, pop a walking foot on. It really doesn't matter, because at this point you are going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of fabric. Now I know my machine, and I know that it will stitch that just fine, but when you come on to coming off those layers, just go steady again. And if you want to reinforce and go back and forth, because that will be a point of pressure, then do that. And again, when you get to the zip, slow and steady wins the day over that. Now this is a nylon one, so I'm okay to just sew over the top. If you have done now with this machine, it will adjust its height really nicely for me, but not all machines are like that. So if you want to just hand crank over the zip, then do. Got to my mark, so I'll do either a forwards and back. For me, I just do a little holding stitch. It's funny, isn't it, when you get a new machine, and I got this in January, knowing that I wanted one. There are those things that you discover about it that you were unlooked for, and that was one of them. So, obviously the thread cutting was something that I did really want. I really wanted that. Oh, there's bits of dinosaur egg juice on this now. Lovely, lovely. Must remember that if I gift it. And along we go. Obviously, because you are going to be sewing through a few layers, if there is any possibility that that needle is at all blunt, change it before you start as well, because that's going to give you another thing for success. And along we go. And again, if you need to go slow, hand crank, do whatever you need to over that zip, because there is nothing worse than the sound of a needle breaking. It makes me jump every single time. And now when we come along to the bottom, now I'm happy to just keep that needle in. And you'll notice that as I'm doing it, I've made sure that I've lined that up so that the fabric is absolutely square. And then along we come, along that bottom. So I'm not going to get any puckerings or anything along there. Okay, let's box the bottom. Let's do that thing. So this is pretty easy. If you have the ruler, I don't know what I've done with my Perfect 5 ruler. Excuse me for stretching. Bit annoying. I've put it somewhere. But basically, get yourself a ruler, and on each corner I mark an inch. And I don't do it from the seam line. Just bear in mind, obviously, if you do come in from the seam line, and you can, but you will be making the boxed bottomy bit bigger. And if you want to do that, that's, like I say, absolutely fine. And then get yourself a nice sharp pair of scissors and trim those little blocks off. I don't know what I've done with my really nice sharp scissors. What have I done with them all? Oh, here we go. What does this do, boxing the bottom? It just gives you a bit more space. So if you can see there, it's just, I mean, that's, it just gives it that base to stand on. If you want, with these, if you want this a little bit stiffer, then just put some interfacing on. I know that I am going to stuff it very early on, so that's fine. So just chop those bits there, chop off those squares. And that's why I didn't get het up about going forwards and backwards and because I knew that I was going to be cutting that bit off anyway. There we go. Now, obviously, we've got quite a few layers here. So go steady. So let's start with one of these to show. From that, there it is. With a bit of dinosaur juice. Pull it apart until that bit that was square goes flat. Now, you see that's now flat along there. Try and match up your seams. You can open them and sew across, or push one to one side, one to the other. That is easier with this amount of fabric, and it just nests and will give you a nice clean run at stuff. So let's do that. Let's just sew that. Now this is one point where I probably, my foot pedal's gone for a walkabout, come back foot pedal. This is where I would probably go backwards and forwards over it just a few times. Start a little bit further in, that's what I would say, and then go backwards off the end of it. And what that does is it just takes up the tension on your sewing machine so that it doesn't push the fabric down into that gap. And then you can sew straight off the end. Okay. And there it is, just sewn along there. And do the same here. So pull it apart. So there it is. Pull it apart. One seam one side, one seam the other, nests those seams, and that you should have a nice flat, nice straight edge there to then sew along. Again, starting slightly off the end, forward a couple of inches, a couple of stitches, and then back. And it kind of doesn't matter then if you just go off the edge of the fabric, and then before you get to the edge, go back again and come forward, and then you can just sew straight off, but you know that those stitches are reinforced as you go. So that's the bottom boxed on there. Lovely. Now here is a different kettle of fish. You've got a lot of layers. Okay, so just pull it apart, and you might not be able to nest them very easily because there's quite a lot going on. If you want to open them up, then do, but just honestly for this bit, just slow and steady. If you think your machine might take umbrage, again, what I would say is you don't have to go with the 2 layers. You can do it so that I mean, my machine sews through it, but if you think that yours might not, then what I would say, and look how slow, I mean, I'm really going slowly here, but again, new needle. If you're worried that your machine won't, just go 1 layer. Just go 1 layer, don't double over, but that's sewn through it. Really no problem. I just didn't go hell for leather over it. Where does that expression come from? Hell for leather. no idea. So open it out. Match the seams as much as you can. And then when it's nice and flat, and back over we go. But yeah, just nice and steady. Ta-da! And there you go, that's all sewn. The other thing to do, oh, I'm going to get my paper scissors for this. Yeah, paper. Is just chop the end of my zip off. And then just turn everything through. If you wanted the top part, like I say, to have a bit more oomph, then you can interface it. Did I find it needed it? No. Am I going to open up that zip a little bit more? Yes. Why not? Do you still get that moment when you sew, when you just sort of double check and go, have I sewn? Have I actually sewn through all the seams? Does anybody else still do that? Did I miss a bit? Did I do this? Did I do that? Now, when you open it, it's very likely that you'll get that. What you've done is you've just done a double pocket. Just flip it. There. I love these colours. I love these colours. Oh, they are just gorgeous. Opening out those bottoms. Up through there. If you want to, then now is the time to just, yeah, look. Because we made those seams match. Isn't that lovely? And then if you want to, just top stitch down that lining, then do. But because it's down the side, you're not going to see it as much. So I would normally press this, but I'm here now. So, you know, let's just crack on, shall we? Ooh, turn that under a little bit more. Turn that through. And there, ooh, stray thread. There you have it. That is one pretty pouch pocket with, but aren't those colours lovely together? Really, really lovely together. I just absolutely adore them. With a really pretty zip in there. Lovely coloured lining. There you go. One quilted pouch. Done. Done, 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 done. So which of the fabrics have you gone for? That's what I want to know. Which ones? Which ones? Which ones? Because they're all so beautiful. Let's have a look at messages this morning. Christy says, can't find the new block of the month subscription. Can someone guide me in the right direction? We are still, because this is the first subscription that we've ever done, Christine, we are double checking everything because we don't want to get it wrong. So all of our T's and C's and everything with the bank, because we've never done a subscription like this before. It's taken us a little bit longer than we thought just to double check everything, because we really want to get it right. But we will send out an email as soon as it's done, Christy. We will send out an email for anybody that wants to join in with the block of the month. And Jane's busy cutting anyway. Hi, here I am delayed departure so I could watch Tilda. Nice one, Helen. Hello. Janet says, love your children, Natasha, so beautiful. Yeah, what is it they say? Handsome is as handsome does. Anne's in Southeast Cornwall. Lovely. Jennifer's not watching. She's got her eyes shut. Jennifer, come on. If it makes you happy, it can't be bad, right? Oh, okay, so Margaret says it's not my sewing machine pedal foot, luckily, since none of my machines has a stop-start button. Whew. That's all right then. That's all right. And who else have we got? Sheena says, love you, top. Can't wait for the Tilda fabric tomorrow. Oh, what, for the little farm tomorrow, the tiny farm. Thank you. Very excited. Are you going to be offering layer cakes as an option? When I can get them, yes. They don't offer them from the supplier for this fabric, Carol, so I can't get it. And to be honest, the labour intensity it would cost me to cut up a layer cake for you, the pricing on it just wouldn't be reasonable. So what I would recommend that you do is get the long quarters, which are already 10 inches wide, and then just cut, and then you'll end up getting more for your money. What else? What else do we need to know? Is there anything? Thank you all for being very patient whilst the dinosaur was hatched before your very eyes. And just to recap, what we've used this morning, that is the bronze out of the fat quarter quadrant, shall I say? I don't know, quads. The 4-pack of your fat quarters. I should probably show you actually, because I said it was a wider fat quarter. So there we go. That's the size of the fat quarter. Now, bearing in mind, yeah, it's a good sort of 10 inches, 20 centimetres bigger than you would normally get from a normal size quilting weight. There we go. So they are available individually or part of the mega bundle. When I say individually, I mean like the 4 of them are available individually or part of the mega pack. This is your rose hip. Where's my piece of paper that says? Anyway, that's one of the pretty bundles. Just to recap for anybody that missed all of these. No, that's not the shot I want. That's the shot I want. There we go. They are your pinks. They're the beautiful rose hips. And that is one of the bundles. They're 1/2 meters or long quarters if you want. These ones are the sand and the umber. How gorgeous. And this was the one that I demoed with. And then the other make, this one, came out of the Dijon and teal, which was this here. I'm going out. I'm going to say this might be my favourite bundle today. And I don't normally go for mustard, but that fabric has me. Just has me. Just beautiful. And then, of course, here, that is your blueberry one. Now, remember, we've got, if you're after just a 2-pack of Tilda tonal plains, then this is open as an option for you. But if you fancy 4 altogether there, then they are your tones. And these are the ones that they recommend, look, that go with it so beautifully. But of course, because it's Tilda, tonally, it's all exquisite. Remember, this is, you can dress make with this. And in fact, what we've done is we haven't cut this fabric yet. So if you ordered, say, 2 of the 1/2 meters, we can leave that as a meter then of each, if you see what I mean. Because we haven't cut it, we'll cut this as the orders come off. We're trying, you know, now that we've got our warehouse, this is the first day that Inga's actually fulfilling orders. in the warehouse today. We are nearly there, which means that going forwards, we will be able to start offering you a cutting service. It's very exciting. Lots happening, and I hope to be able to tell you a little bit more next week about some of the things that we've got in store for you. But exciting times. Tomorrow, let me show you what we're making. I have many a prototype, and Captain Small has been modelling these all over the place. But the little dresses, the little pillowcase dresses, and I'm going to show you how you can do it, just a plain one like that, or two-tone if you want this. This was prototype number 1 with the satin binding around the. We're not going to do the satin binding around the arms. We'll leave that for a later date. But what I would like to start doing is some dressmaking with you, because I realise that we've been quite quilt and bag making heavy, and it's time to get some dressmaking. So we're going to start off with the easiest of makes, the absolute easiest of makes tomorrow, with some of the most beautiful fabrics. So to be honest, if anybody looks at your stitches rather than the fabric, they're no friend anyway. They're no friend anyway. But I am really excited now because these are perfect for little ones. And I'm just going to finish off writing up the pattern, because they can either wear them like Emily did, just as is, or as it starts to get a little bit chillier, pop a long sleeve top and some jeans underneath. And as they get bigger, of course, they just grow with it, which is great. So instead of it becoming a tunic, it then becomes a top. Really handy. So for all those mums out there and grands that want cost-effective clothing, yes, out of a ½ metre. Let's do that. All right then, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have had a fabulous morning. Yeah, get making. Decide which colours you want. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.